Hi students, welcome to lesson 9 on society, concept, types and theories, part A. This lesson we will discuss in two parts. In part A, we will focus on what is the concept of society, different characteristics of society, and we will also discuss about tribal society and rural society. Introduction. Now coming to this lesson, the roots of the term society can be traced to the Latin word socius, which means companionship or friendship. As Aristotle stated centuries ago, man is a social animal. It brings into focus that man always lives in company of other people. 𝗳𝗏, an eminent sociologist, has stated that it is the element of sociability or companionship which defines the true essence of society. Society has become an essential condition for human life to continue. After completion of this lesson, you will be able to understand the concept and characteristics of society, the types of societies, theories of origin of society. Concept of society. Society is an aggregation, that is, collection of individuals who are subjected to the same external conditions. Society is a collection of interacting individuals sharing the same way of life and living in the same territory, though the territory is abstract. The building blocks of societies are statuses, roles, groups and institutions. Different thinkers have defined society in different ways. Auguste Comte viewed society as a social organism possessing a harmony of structure and function. Emile Durkheim regarded society as a reality in its own right. For Talcott Parsons, society is a total complex of human relationship insofar as they grow out of the action in terms of means-end relationship, intrinsic or symbolic. George Herbert Mead conceived society as an exchange of gestures which involves the use of symbols. Maurice Ginsburg defines society as a collection of individuals united by certain relations or mode of behavior which mark them off from others who do not enter into these relations or who differ from them in behavior. The German sociologist Ferdinand Tönnies proposed a highly influential distinction between Gemeinschaft, that is community, and Gesellschaft, that is association, to capture the difference between pre-modern and traditional types of societies. Gemeinschaft is characterized by ties of reciprocity and mutuality. Customs predominate and they are largely rural. Gesellschaft is characterized by voluntary associations and exchange relationships. Rational calculation predominates and such societies are urban and cosmopolitan. Society is a web of social relationships. Society, like an organism, is a system of independent relations. Society has its structure and has different parts which have different functions. Most human societies have gone through different stages of socio-cultural evolution, the process of changing from technologically simple to more complex societies. The stages are briefly discussed here. Hunting and gathering societies. They hunt animals and gather plants as their primary means of survival. Today, less than 0.1% lives in this type. They are very small societies and move in search of food. The division of labor is based on gender. Spears or other simple tools for hunting and fishing and hands for gathering wild plants are used. Pastoral societies. They domesticate and herd animals as their primary source of food. It appeared about 10,000 years back and still exists in the desert and highlands of North and East Africa, Middle East and Mongolia. They domesticate and herd animals. Pastoralists accumulate surplus food and is also marked social inequality based on size of individuals' herd and number of man's wives. They are fiercely independent, warlike, great social inequality. Horticultural societies. This society produces food primarily by growing food in small gardens. They do their gardening by hand with hoes and digging sticks. Unlike pastoralists, horticulturalists live in permanent settlements. They worship dead ancestors. Agricultural societies. The invention of plough around 5,000 years ago touched off agricultural revolution. The society produced food basically by using ploughs and draft animals on the farm. The giant leap forward in food production enabled large populations to emerge in agricultural societies. Industrial societies. It appeared around 250 years ago and continues to exist. The food producing technology basically is machine. The socio-cultural life included creating huge urban centers, educational and economic institutions more influential than earlier types. Human relations became weaker and more impersonal. There are many changes in the functions of the institutions like family. Human life has improved greatly in the sense of development of medical sciences has brought reduction in death rates. The secondary groups and social diversity has increased. Post-industrial societies. It began to emerge about 1970s and is still in the process of becoming fully post-industrial. It is led by countries like United States of America, Canada, Japan and other rich nations. The food producing technology includes high technology like biotechnology, genetic engineering, service industry, etc. There is increasing replacement of manufacturing by service knowledge, information jobs, large cities, gender equality, etc. Characteristics of society. The important characteristics of society are: society consists of people who are in continuous and mutual interaction. Social interaction is possible because of mutual awareness. Society is the name given to the system or organization or relations or activities among individuals. Thus, it is essential that these individuals should be similar to each other to some extent. Difference in social relations is also an essential element of society. The activities in human society are based upon reciprocal give and take. This reciprocal exchange is due to differences in interests, capacities, aptitudes, etc. There is presence of cooperation, division of labor, assistance, interdependence and also conflict. Society is abstract and dynamic. Societies have certain needs which must be fulfilled. They may be regarded as primary needs. The need for population, the need for specialization, need for solidarity and need for reproduction. Society has a definite territory with a structure, recurrence, contradiction and a process. Social control is important for the society. Culture is inherent part of any society and because of this only Every society is unique. Types of society. There are different types of society on the basis of diversified socio-economic factors. Broadly, types of society can be categorized into tribal, rural and urban. Tribal society. A tribe is a collection of families or groups of families bearing a common name, members of which occupy the same territory, speak the same language and observe certain taboos regarding marriage, occupation and have developed a well assessed system of reciprocity and mutuality of obligations. The important features of tribal society are common territory. A tribe is a territorial community. It means the tribe has a definite territory in which its members reside. For example, the Naga, Rengma Naga, Seema Naga and other aboriginals reside in Nagaland. Garos, Khasis live in Assam. Bhils in Madhya Pradesh, Soligas in Mysore, Todas in Nilgiri hills of Tamil Nadu and so on. In the absence of a common locality or territory, a tribe would lose its uniqueness. Collection of families. As the definitions of tribes cited above clarify, tribes constitute a collection of families. These collections may have various sizes. These families, which normally have blood relationships among themselves, could be matriarchal or patriarchal in nature. Common name. Every tribe has its own name. Each tribe is known to other tribes by its distinctive name. Examples are Khasi, Naga, Rengma Naga, Seema Naga, Limbu, Santhal, Munda, Gond, Kota, Badaga, Urali, Todas, etc. Common language. The members of a tribe speak a particular language. Different tribes speak different languages. These languages are not only different from the language of the civilized people, but they themselves differ from one another. Common language contributes much to the development of community feeling. Since these languages do not have a script of their own, education of the tribals has become problematic. Common ancestor. The tribals claim that they have a common ancestor. A major cause of the sense of communal unity in the tribe is the tie of blood relationships between its members arising out of common ancestry. The tribals are bound by kinship bonds. Common religion. Religion plays an important role in the tribal organization. The members of a tribe usually worship a common ancestor. Also, nature worship is common among them. In addition to the ancestral worship and nature worship, the aboriginals practice other types of faith such as Buddhism, animism, fetishism and totemism. Magic is also widespread among them and political organizations are based on this religion. Participation in common religious ceremonies, functions and festivals contributes to the unity of the group. A sizable proportion of Nagas, Mizos, Santhals, Oraons and Munda etc. have embraced Christianity, while some tribes such as Bhutia, Lepcha, Chakma have largely identified with Buddhism. Fetishism has been defined both as religion and as magic. In origin, it is the most primitive form of religion. It endows objects with supernatural or mystical powers for good or evil. The person who possesses the fetish can ward off bad luck and will have good fortunes. The mysterious power that is attributed to inanimate objects has been called by some primitives mana. The term mana was first used by anthropologist 𝗳𝗏𝗺𝗃. The theory of animism is the work of E.B. Taylor and may be found in his Primitive Culture, which was first published in 1871. Animism is essentially a belief in the spirit of the dead. Totemism is an extension of fetishism. A totem is a species of animal or plant or part of as animal or plant or a natural object or phenomenon. Common culture. Each tribe has a way of life of its own. Each tribe has its own way of behaving, thinking, feeling and acting. Each has its own customs, traditions, morals, values and its own peculiar institutions. In brief, its own culture. The very peculiarities of a tribe reveal that it has a distinctive culture of its own. Common political organization. Each tribe has its own political system. The chieftainship is normally hereditary. Chief normally exercises authority. He occupies an important position in the tribal society. The tribals do not possess a government in the modern sense of the term, but they do have their own tribal government, tribal council and tribal judicial system. Feeling of unity. The members of a tribe always feel that they are united. This sense of unity for them is to retain their identity. Tribals are normally cohesive. Common economic organization. Majority of the tribal workers are engaged in agriculture. They are also engaged in manufacturing, forestry, food gathering. Their economic position is very poor. Organization of clans. The clan or sib is an important part of tribal organization. The clan includes all the relatives of mothers or fathers and the children of one ancestor. People belonging to a clan trace their origin through ancestor. The descendants of a clan are of either matrilineal or patrilineal lineage. The tribal society may include in itself many clans. There exists mutual helpfulness among the members of different clans. Prevalence of dormitories. Tribal community has a peculiar feature which is evident in the way they form dormitories. Such organizations train the youth in the tribal ways of life. These are the centers which preserve tribal legends, music, dance, paintings, etc. Simplicity and self-sufficiency. A tribal society is simple in character. Hunting, finding and collection of roots, fruits, nuts and honey and forest products are their main means of subsistence. Some have taken to cultivation also. The need for protection. There is need for protection of the tribals. Ethnic, political, religious and other kinds of prejudices and mutual distrust between civilized and the tribal people have made the tribals feel insecure. Hence, they experience the need for protection. Rural society. Rural society is a cluster of people living within a narrow territorial radius who share a common way of life. The total environment of the rural society is different from urban society. With specific reference to India, 68.86% of Indian population lives in about 6 lakh villages, which clearly reflect the significance of rural communities in India. The important characteristics of rural community are agriculture. The rural community is marked by predominantly by agriculture. Agriculture is associated with different crafts like pottery, basket making, spinning, weaving, carpentry, brick making, shoemaking, tanning, curing hides, washing clothes, barbering, building houses and repairing, oil grinding, toy making. Almost 40% of our national income is obtained through agriculture. In contrast with the urban society, there is less division of labor and specialization in rural community. Agricultural land is the single most important resource and form of property in rural society, but it is not equally distributed among people living in particular village or region. Size and homogeneity. The size of the rural society is small with less density of population. Relatively homogeneous population due to similarity of the occupation and lifestyles. There is common ideology and culture. Primary group, which is a very important characteristic of rural society. A village community is often regarded as primary group. Hence, the rural community is characterized by the primary relations. There exist face-to-face relations among people. Every person knows every other and hence everyone is interested in the welfare of all. The traditions and customs are relatively stronger and behavior of the members of rural community is strongly guided by the family norms and culture. Social structure is also important character of rural society. Traditional and rigid system of social stratification in terms of caste, limited social mobility, ascribed social status, strong interpersonal relations, strong mutual cooperation and social solidarity characterize rural community. The members frequently meet and maintain regular contacts. The relationships are informal, personal and inclusive. Community spirit triumphs over individual interests. A sense of belonging to the community holds people together. Rural societies are relatively simple and reflect self-sufficiency. In rural areas, there is a complex relationship between caste and class. Primacy of primary institutions and family is also important character of rural society, in which lot of importance to primary institutions like family, neighborhood, religion, kinship is given. Further, rural community is strongly characterized by personal ties of kinship and friendship and lays stress on tradition, consensus and informality. Importance of family. The rural community is built around the institution of family. The rural family is mostly a joint family. Agricultural operation requires a large number of people. The rural family is cohesive and it lives together as a unit. The family provides the greatest support in terms of meeting the economic and social needs of its members. People are bound by family customs and traditions. Status of the individual is mostly derived from his family. Property is considered as a possession of the family itself. Marriage, religion, occupation, mode of living, etc. are all influenced by the traditions of family, though many social changes are being witnessed in rural community. Role of neighborhood. Neighborhood has been defined as an area in which residents are personally well acquainted with each other and are in the habit of visiting one another and of exchanging articles and services and in general of doing things together. In village, the neighborhood is of great importance. There is participation in all common ceremonies, functions and festivals. They assist one another in all important matters. faith in religion. The rural people are mostly religious in their outlook. They have deep faith in religion and in God. They have awe and reverence, and more than that, fear of God. Since their main occupation is agriculture, which mainly depends on nature, religious beliefs including nature worship is very much part of rural community. Informal social control. Social control, that is the control of social behavior of people, is relatively simpler and informal. There is predominance of face-to-face relationship, and thus customs, traditions, group standards and morals are themselves effective as social pressures. It is seen that the disobedient is put to gossip and slander. Formal means of social control such as law, legislation, police, court, etc. are not resorted to in normal situations to maintain the social order. Village panchayats and caste panchayats play an important role. Conservatism and rigidity is also present in rural society. The rural people are said to be highly conservative, traditional and rigid in their approach. Their social attitudes and behavior patterns are guided by traditions and customs. Rural community and social change. In post-independent India, the rural community witnessed changes by increase in the use of agriculture labor as cultivation became more intensive, shift from payment in kind, that is food grains, to payment in cash, loosening of traditional bonds or hereditary relationships between farmers or landowners and agricultural workers who were also known as bonded labor, and the rise of class of free wage laborers. The state invested in the development of rural infrastructure such as irrigation facilities, roads and electricity, and on the provision of agricultural inputs including credit through banks and cooperatives. Further, various rural development policies, forces of globalization and privatization transformed rural community. 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧, British administrator in India, said, "Village communities are little republics having nearly everything they can want within themselves and almost independent of any foreign relations."